Everybody, welcome to a new edition of Treats and Teats. It is Sunday night at the Hannock household. I'm Tammy Hannock, and tonight I wanted to bring you something a little bit different. Take note, there's no Cool Whip on the island tonight. I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit and share with you a couple other treats and cheats that I found, that I like, things that I recently discovered, things that you can just run out to the store and buy. But tonight, we're going to shift away from some of the desserts I keep talking about, because I know a lot of us have sweet tooths. I certainly do. But I'm going to shake it up a little bit and change over to some things that are a little more savory in nature, because I know so many of us are always asked to go to parties and functions where you're taking chips and dip and vegetables and dip and things like that, or having people over and you want to put out some, crudités. Most commercial dip is really bad for you. Now, I have to confess, my daughter really loves French onion dip, so we always have a dip somewhere in the fridge. So I did pull one out today, and I was just looking at some of the statistics on this dip, and I want to do a comparison of some numbers for you, and I show you what my little treat dip would be in comparison to a commercial dip that you can buy at the grocery store. So lo and behold, I have brought back out my favorite superfood in the world, plain Greek yogurt, because this thing really is one of the most versatile foods I've found in the world that you can make just hundreds and hundreds of things with. It just seems to go in everything. So what I kind of stumbled upon one day was using a packaged dip seasoning mix that I actually got in the Strip District here in Pittsburgh. This is a store in the Strip District that you can actually go online and order things from if you don't have a chance to ever go to the Strip, and that would be Penzeys Spices. Love that place. When I walk in there, it just makes you just want to cook because the spices are just so amazing. But they have a ton of seasoning mixes and dip mixes already made that I decided to buy to try, and I have a bunch to show you today that I have. But the one that I have fallen in love with is one called Chip and Dip Seasoning. Simple as that. Now, there are, obviously lots of dehydrated vegetables, red and green peppers and onions and garlic powder, a little bit of a soy protein, some horseradish. This is a really flavorful seasoning. You only need about 1 tablespoon to a cup of plain yogurt. Now, I made this for some girlfriends one night that came over. I wanted to have some dip and chips out because we were having a glass of wine or two. And they were amazed that this was just yogurt. They said, there's no mayonnaise in it, there's no sour cream. I said, no, it is just yogurt. So my recipe tonight is this simple. 1 cup of yogurt, 1 tablespoon of Penzeys Chip and Dip seasoning, and it makes this amazing dip that looks just like most vegetable dips you would find if you were to go to Giant Eagle or Shop and Save and buy a commercial dip. Now, here are some of the calorie and fat gram comparisons that I always like to show you as to why you might want to think about trying something like this. So a cup of this plain yogurt with the 5 calories of chip and dip seasoning is I figured out about 140 calories, 0 grams of fat, 23 grams of protein. I don't know a lot of people who sit down and just eat a cup of dip when they're doing vegetables, but something like this you actually could, right? Because many times we sit down and eat a half a cup to a cup of yogurt as a snack. If you had a plate of fresh vegetables, and I'm going to be eating a lot of those pretty soon because I'm actually doing the Beachbody Ultimate Reset right now. This is going to be a saving grace for me as one of my snacks this week because I'm allowed to have yogurt and vegetables, so this makes an amazing little dip that you can use. And you can actually eat the whole entire container if you wanted to. I don't know if you would, but you actually could if you wanted to. Now, if I were to take that same amount of dip, and I figured out of this commercial dip that I have right here, a cup of this kind of dip that you can buy at the grocery store, 640 calories. So right there's 500 calories in difference. But now you're also taking in 40 grams of fat. About the same amount of protein, but do you really need the 500 calories and the 40 grams of fat to sit and eat a cup of dip? Probably not. But if you think about how easy that happens at a party when you're sitting around with a bowl of chips and there's a big old bowl of dip in front of you, it is sometimes hard to figure out how much you've eaten at a party. So this is one of those little, tricks that I have discovered that I really like. People are just amazed that it's not a really fattening dip. It actually isn't. It's just plain old Greek yogurt. One of the reasons I love it. Now, beyond vegetables to dip, I did find a chip that I wanted to share with you. And I really love this. I'm having a lot of trouble with water retention and sodium content right now. in my own body. I have a really difficult time managing that. So I'm really looking for things that have very little salt in them. And this is a really delicious chip that I just found. It's made by Terra, and it's a sweet potato chip that has no salt added to it. So if you were going to sit down and really count out your ounce of chips, this really counts as a full serving of chips. But I wanted to show you just how thick, if I were to use that dip that I made, how thick that dip really is, and how yummy that would be on that chip if I were allowed to eat that right now. So I really like these. They actually come in a brand called Sweets and Beets. So it's sweet potato chips and beet chips. And if you've never had that before, it sounds yucky, but they're actually really amazing. So take a trip to Giant Eagle and check one of these chip brands out, because they have a lot of different types. But I really like the sweet potato, no salt added, as my favorite right now. So I wanted to share with you, because I love Penzeys spices so much, as a little shout out to Penzeys, some of the other spices I have there, because one of the things I have to do on the reset is make my own salad dressing. Now, I'm following the recipes in my nutrition guide right now to do that, and I forgot how good homemade salad dressing really is. A lot of times we just go to Giant Eagle and pick on whatever's on sale, 2 for $4, buy one get one free, and we buy a lot of commercial salad dressings, and normally they have a lot of sugar in them, especially if they're marked light or fat-free. Something's being replaced to replace that taste, that mouthfeel of fat in a salad dressing, and usually it's something that our bodies really don't need. So one of the things that I've discovered at Penzeys as well is they have a ton of salad dressing mixes there that, again, are so simple to mix your own salad dressing with, because you can start to play with the ratio of oils to vinegars. You can start to cut back on your oils. We all need some healthy fats in our diets, don't get me wrong. We all need that in our salad dressings. But we need the full amount sometimes that comes in most salad dressings? Probably not. So there you have the flexibility to play with it yourself. So I have one that's just a basic Italian dressing one that I can't live without. I found one called Salsa Salad, which mixed with lime juice and corn oil makes the most delicious little Mexican flavored salad dressing if you're having a salad like that has a lot of cilantro and things in it. I found one called Green Goddess, which again, if you're mixing it with plain yogurt, maybe thinned out with a little bit of milk, makes a really beautiful salad dressing or dip. Very green, lots of chives, and it's just a really tasty dip. Very mild, and salt-free. And then I have one that's creamy peppercorn, because I know when I go out to a restaurant, that's a dressing that I really like, but usually that's a very creamy, heavy, fattening dressing. So you can actually make this at home by yourself. And a lot of the times these can be used just to sprinkle into food, to add to your scrambled eggs. I mean, these have a lot of uses beyond just dip and dressing. So I really stock up on those whenever I go to Penzeys. I'm just as guilty of that when it comes to the baking spices. I love their pumpkin pie spices. If you remember my show on pumpkin pie yogurt, this was the one that I used, because it is absolutely amazing. And they have one of the most amazing cinnamons in the world. If you've never had Vietnamese cinnamon, cinnamon is so good for your body anyways. It's an anti-inflammatory. It has so many good properties. It's a great spice for your body, but this one smells like the inside of a Cinnabon. So if you have a craving like that, this might take care of it. So you can go to the website at Penzeys, because they have just an amazing website. They have a free catalog with great recipes, and I just love that place. And it's worth the trip to me, because I know what the things that I'm making are things that are as natural as I can make them and not very processed. Now, I do have 2 more things to show you really quick. Talking about all natural products. This is a company here in Pittsburgh, About Time. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but About Time makes a variety of different supplements. They make protein powders, they make protein bars, they make some oatmeal bars that I think are out of this world. But I was a Giant Eagle, and I stumbled upon a single serving of this flavor, and I wanted to try it because it sounded birthday cake protein powder. Just sounded interesting to me. What I love about their products, though, is that they are 100% natural, no carbs and no fat. And a scoop of this powder is 100 calories, 103 calories. Most protein powders have a little bit more than that, and it still gives you 25 grams. But what I had read on the back of this and what I tried was, again, with my magical superfood, I mixed this into the yogurt, and again, it was absolutely delicious. Now we're talking about birthday cake flavored yogurt, and it was totally yummy. And again, I love knowing that what I put in my body is 100% natural, because there's so many things out of our control that we can't sometimes. So, if you ever want to try a flavor, Giant Eagle has these in single servings, and they have a few different flavors there to try, but I'm loving this birthday cake one by About Time, and that's right here in Pittsburgh. Last one. I found this at Sheetz. This is called Super Crunchy Fruit Chips. Now, normally I would never eat dried fruit because it's loaded in sugar, and if you look at the calorie counts, when you compare real fruit to dried fruit, the amount that you get of dried fruit is so minuscule compared to the amount of fresh fruit you can eat, and the sugars are outrageous. But this is actually a new type of fruit chip that came out, and it's 100% air crisp. So it's not freeze dried, it's not a fried chip. 90 calories for the whole bag. What I loved about this, the sugars weren't out of control. It's equivalent to 3 slices of pineapple. But if you're someone like me who sometimes you just need to chew on something and you need a crunch, this was so hard and crunchy that my teeth were going to break off at first, but they were really good. So if you're looking for something to kind of stash in the car so you don't cave and make some bad choices at vending machines and convenience stores, something like this that's actually real fruit, and it's not all sugared up and freeze-dried, could be a good option for you. So I hope that there were some interesting little tidbits you found tonight. It was good to see you back because I missed you on Easter Sunday, but it was such a crazy weekend for everybody. And I figured I'd wait till we were all back in our routines to start Sunday night treats and teats again. So with that, I hope with this, you too can achieve the Hannock dynamic. I'll see you next week.